everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Meet the Messenger. I'm your host, Baptiste Raffin, the editor in chief of The Messenger. And this week, my guest is actually the introduction of my co host for the whatever number of episodes we have left before we're both graduating. Please welcome one of the managing editors from The Messenger, Aubrey May. Hi, Aubrey.
Hi, Baptiste. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. I'm very excited to be here. This will be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. And it's weird, we're asking you each other, how are you? It's not like we've been talking for 15 minutes before we started
I
recording,
know, I
but
know.
that's
I
show
thought about
business
that
for you.
too.
That's show business. So what we're gonna do is starting next week, hopefully, we're going on little on some trips. So we'll see what the schedule will look like. But Aubrey will be with me interviewing other staffers from Messenger. But since she wasn't in the first episode, and she's such a huge part of the Messenger, and I couldn't do everything that I do without her, I decided that it would be great to dedicate to use this whole episode to talk to her. So we're going to start with so now we've both been at the Messenger for over a year, like almost a year and a half. You joined a little bit before me. You were there right at the start. Can you tell me how you got involved with the Messenger?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a funny, I don't know if I would say funny actually, but it's a fun story. So our previous editor-in-chief, Miss Elizabeth Taylor, I love to use her full name. We went to high school together. She was the editor-in-chief of our high school yearbook, and I was the copy editor for that publication. And I think I was just texting her like, "Hey, how's the start of the semester going?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, I just submitted an application for the editor-in-chief of the Messenger." And I was like, "What's that?" And she obviously explained it to me, that it was kind of dormant and that we were starting this whole process up again. And I didn't hear much of it, and I was like, just let me know if you get the position, and then I'd love to learn more. And so eventually, about a week later, she told me she got it, which was very exciting. Um, and then she was like, Aubrey, I think you'd be really good for the copy editor position, or you can try something different. Um, and at the time, I kind of felt like I wanted to ease my way in a little bit. And so I applied for copy editor just because that's what I was comfortable with. You know, I just had come from a year of being copy editor in high school, so I felt super comfortable with that. So I applied for copy editor. She interviewed me along with Mike. That's when I first met Mike, our fearless advisor. Um, and yeah, I got copy editor, and then I guess that was how I joined staff, and I've been here ever since. Did you ask about this year, or do you want me to wait to
Oh,
go into that?
let's
Okay.
wait a little bit.
Okay.
Let's focus on copy editor for now. For those the people that are listening that might not know what a copy editor is or what a copy editor does, we have a wonderful one this year called McKenna, but you were our first one. Can you explain what is copy editing?
Yes, great question. So the copy editor kind of looks at all the um fine, I don't know if you would say fine, like the tiny details of every article. You make sure it's an AP style. There's like a whole book of like rules that you have to follow with journalism writing. And then you also fix like grammar issues, repetitive wording, stuff like that that you don't really think about while you're writing it. But it's just always good to have like another set of eyes looking at the articles. So that's kind of what I did. And McKenna and I always joke that we're people that really enjoy like fixing tiny details, and we're very specific with stuff like that. So we always enjoy copy editing, and she's doing a great job too. We love McKenna.
Yeah, we do. And so you said you did that in high school for a yearbook, right?
Yes.
Did you have at that time like a specific training? How did you get into that? Like, were you passionate about pointing out people's mistakes? What did you make me? What made you go into it?
Yeah,
Get into it.
that's a good question actually. I took like a intro to journalism, I think was what it was called or something like that, in high school, and I really enjoyed it. And I've just always had a passion for writing, and I feel like grammar, it sounds weird to like brag about myself, but like grammar and punctuation and all that fun stuff has come really easily to me. Um, and I feel like I've just always been a good writer, I guess. I don't know, it sounds bad to brag. But in high school, I thought it would be a good job for me because I wanted to kind of take on a leadership role, but I wasn't necessarily ready for, editor in chief of the yearbook because I know that was a very stressful, um, chaotic, crazy job as it is here at the Messenger as well. But I definitely felt like I was ready to take that step and take on a leadership role, and I had a blast. It was very fun.
Yeah, I mean, you were typing so fast. We'd submitted an article, and 10 minutes later, it said it. Okay, right.
Yes.
So you were a great start. You first person in the position. You left a great mark and a great standard to live by. So
Oh, thank you,
yeah.
Baptiste. That's so sweet.
And so that was spring 2025.
Mhm.
At the end, we both know that we're coming back next year. I apply for editor in chief, and then you decide to apply for managing editor. What went into that decision?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I was actually contemplating um running for editor in chief as well as managing editor. I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in. But after talking to Elizabeth and Audrey, who obviously Elizabeth was the previous editor in chief, and then Audrey was the previous uh, managing editor, which don't get confused, it's Audrey and Aubrey.
You can
Um,
see how that was easy for us, Audrey. Aubrey, I've called you Audrey multiple times in the past as well. So,
no, you actually haven't, which is crazy. I don't
oh
know
no,
how
I
you.
have. I have called you Audrey. I know it.
Oh, okay, my
You've
bad.
even called me out on it.
I have.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure I did. I get really sassy with it, honestly. I need to stop. Um, but I talked to Elizabeth and Audrey and Mike about it, and I kind of realized that managing editor was more the position for me because um, I feel like managing editor is more like in charge of the like organizational deadline heavy stuff, and I even as copy editor last year felt like I was really passionate about helping make sure everybody stayed on track because I obviously hated it when people would get articles to me like on a Sunday night the day before it was supposed to be posted to edit. So I really I really realized at the time that managing editor would suit my personality, type A, organized, crazy self. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. I really enjoy it, and I think I made the right decision for sure.
And what she's not saying is that she absolutely wanted me to be editor in chief. So that's
This
why
is
she did not.
true.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
This is true. I did talk Baptiste into it. He was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "Baptiste, you have to. We need
Hey,
to work as a dynamic duo and work
hey,
together because
I
we
told
were
you to
like."
apply for editor in chief, but you didn't want to. So
I know. I was nervous and honestly like at the time I felt like it would be like way too much work. And I think I underestimated also how much work managing editor is as
yeah.
well. Especially because I probably make it more work than it needs to be because I'm insane. But
I don't I don't think I think you're really passionate about it, which is great, and you're really focused and really want to make it do well and make the messenger grow. So you're on top of it all the time, and I think that's very commendable because you it shows that how passionate you are. And
oh, thank you.
we had that when you were a copy editor. when last year we had a deadline of 5 p.m. on Friday for articles, and
Mhm.
around 4, I didn't need that message because I was always on time. But other people needed like, hey, remember 5 p.m. deadline?
Yes.
Already started with the deadline at the time. So like,
Yes.
you know what? Let's make it my primary job, remind people of deadlines.
Exactly. It was destined for me.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I made that choice because now that's like all I do. I love it.
Yeah. So how has it been? We are few weeks before away from the end, so we're almost a year, smaller year in it. How has it been being managing editor? It's co-managing editor.
Mhm.
Um but I mean you're both, I treat you both as managing editors. I never use co. I don't know why I said it. But what are your primary missions? What
Mhm.
do you enjoy doing? How did you make the job yours? Because I feel like it's also different from what it was last year.
For
So
sure.
I talk about all that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a very loaded question.
I'm sorry. Do you want
Um,
to do you want me to break it down in parts?
yeah. I
So
was like, wait, I'm gonna forget everything. Go ahead.
yeah. So let's start with what are your weekly missions? Like what are the big parts of your
Mhm.
job?
Yeah. That's a yeah, great question. So, kind of like we said earlier, one of the biggest things I do is make sure everybody has their story assignments for the upcoming deadline. So, typically we have weekly meetings on Mondays, and then I will text and those meetings are typically like brainstorm meetings where we kind of talk about like story ideas for the upcoming deadline, like what's happening on campus and what features do we want to write, etc. And then we'll assign articles to the people that are in the meetings. But since we have such busy schedules, not a ton of people are able to make it. So a lot of what I do is text our other writers that are unable to come, and I set them up with photographers as well, and I assign them their stories for the deadline. So yeah, I'll make like little group chats between the two of them and say, hey, here's your story. Make sure you get it done by this due date. Let me know if you need anything, and then I kind of let them roam free. Um, and then also, if they do need anything, I'm always there to help them find sources or maybe more information on a specific event or club or whatever. And then I'm also kind of, I don't know if this is necessarily in the like position title, but I'm kind of just like a reminder girl. I feel like is how I've made my position. I always try to send out, especially when it comes to deadlines, like I said, reminders like, hey, make sure you're turning in your stories. Make sure you're submitting this. Make sure you're letting us know if this happens or whatever. And then, yeah, I'm also just kind of Baptiste's right hand woman, and we work together as a team, and yeah, just help make sure the ship doesn't drown, I guess.
You're my connection to the staff. You're always the one, and
Yes,
and to what is happening, what is ready, because I'm the last as editor in chief, last person to look at things. So Aubrey's like, hey, that's ready. That we're missing a picture for that, we're missing a source, or updating me on where we are with all of the deadlines that she has assigned to the reporters and telling me when they're ready for me to look at them and publish them. And just like, hey, what do we do with that story? What do you want to do? Hey, can I hire that person? Or whatever. I Aubrey's has her phone is her best friend. I feel like having
it
to
is.
always communicate deadlines. And here, let me tell Baptiste. I would like to say, I go to bed. I wake up. I have a text from Aubrey. That's for sure. I would like to say I go to bed. I have a text from Aubrey. That's not true because I go to bed later than her. But
It's true.
if she went later than me, I'm sure I would have also, which I love. Which I love. I was like, oh, Aubrey, good morning.
Of course. And I never say good morning. I'm just like, hey, this is ready.
You
My
know
bad.
what? Last week you told me good morning. I was like,
I did?
okay,
Oh, that's
yeah.
kind. I was probably worried you were mad at me or something. I was like, also, good morning.
So so now let me remember what the three parts of my question were. Uh what you're doing. So how did you make it and I guess they can go together.
Mhm.
How do you like it being in that position? And how did you make it your own compared to how Audrey was doing it last year?
Yeah. I mean, I really love it. I think, like I said many times already, I think it fits my personality really well. And I feel like I've just, I don't know, had a lot to do with, again, not to brag, but I feel like I've had a lot to do with kind of how well we've accomplished the deadline schedule and everything, just because I am so anal and type A about making sure we get things turned in. But when it comes to how it's been different, last year or from last year with Audrey, we kind of like, I don't know, what word would you say, like reformed the like
Yeah, you're not dealing with the same positions that she was dealing with. There were
right.
uh desk editors last year. I was news editor. We had sports and life. We don't have that anymore. We now have
Yeah.
reporters. So you're actually in charge of news and life.
Yes.
But you don't have a specific person to refer to the reporters that are in charge of
Yes.
that.
Yeah. See, you're so good with words. I need to work on my podcasting
And
skills, guys.
you wouldn't and you know that's not even my first language. Not to I feel like I'm bragging. No, I'm not bragging.
But yes, Baptiste is right. So last year Audrey kind of had a middleman, I guess you would say, in between other reporters. So she had like desk editors, which were kind of like what we have now as on staff reporters. So they would write more articles per week, and then they would kind of be like the head of a desk and know what was happening with, like, say they were the, like Baptiste was the news editor. He would know, with the reporters that worked with him, he would know what they were up to and if they could write a story that week and how things were going. Um,
I was the one sending the deadline reminders to them.
yes, yes, exactly. So now it's even more fun because we don't have those like middlemen, if you will. So it's kind of me and me alone. I am in charge of way more um, writers, reporters, photographers, and I get to assign a bunch more stories and be in charge of a lot more people, which is very overwhelming, but very exciting at the same time.
I would say the difference with last year is you both have to look at the articles and make sure that they're right before sending them to
Mhm.
the copy editor. But what you have that Audrey didn't have is that you have to be in charge of deadlines and she had other people to do, not to take away
Yeah.
from what she was doing, but
Yeah.
that's the way it changed this year.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
And so how do you like it?
I like it. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, as you will say too, it can be very overwhelming. I feel like, especially with my position, there's a lot of situations where it's like, panic mode, like, there's not a source for this article, and then you have to kind of like be on your feet and find something or work around a problem or figure out a photographer that can maybe go get a photo if a different photographer, got sick or couldn't make the event or something like that. Um, so it's a lot of like on your feet work. But I feel like that's very similar to what the real world is like, especially in journalism. Things fall through, people, you can't always rely on people. But then, yeah, I mean, it's chaotic, but I've really enjoyed my time, and it's definitely defined my experience at JCCC. And I mean, yeah, I couldn't imagine the past 2 years without all this chaos. I love it.
And you were able to do it to manage it very well because for the past 2 weeks we had at the last second on a Friday we have articles that need to come out on Friday because Friday is in the name, and turns out the ones that were supposed to come out can't come out. So we have to think fast. And Aubrey, for the past weeks, managed to find replacements both times. So congrats. Thank you for that. I don't know if it's congrats feels congrats and thank you for that. Something I forgot to manage about how she's also my right hand woman is that she's always willing to help. I have, I would say maybe more. I probably have more classes than you this semester. Do I?
I'm in 5, but uh, 2 of them are online.
Yeah, at least I'm in class
Yeah,
more than you are. So when
yeah,
I'm not responding for something because I'm in the middle of a lecture or something, it's like, by the way, if you need me to post that, I can do it. So I always appreciate when she's offering her help, realizing that at that moment I'm not able to do it. So
yes.
that's the
I
way she
still don't
helps.
have your schedule down, by the way. I'm always like, is he in class or just not replying to me? I
You know,
don't know.
you can, yeah, once you get it yourself, you're in the middle of the semester. You're like, what day is it? Oh, okay. I'm
No,
doing that.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So so we have, I don't know, 5 weeks left. Do you want to share a little bit about what you're gonna do after the CCC and the messenger?
Yeah. That's a great question, and Baptiste and I were actually just talking about this a little bit before we were recording. I'm gonna transfer to KU, which is very exciting, Rock Chalk. And I am going to major in communication studies with a minor in journalism. So I'm not doing the typical journalism route, which most people from the messenger are doing. I think it's weird. I think a bunch of us are transferring to KU, and Mike was saying the other day, he's like, "You guys are really gonna run KU next year." I'm like, "Of course." Um, but I'm really excited because although it isn't um, necessarily a journalism degree, having that minor and um, just a broad-ish degree, I feel like leaves the door open for a lot of different career options because I really honestly normalize not being sure about what you want to do because I don't really know for sure what I want to do yet. I know I want to do something um, in the creative field. um, it doesn't necessarily have to be writing. I've taken lots of like marketing and social media marketing and PR and advertising classes. So anything in that realm, I don't know what specifically it will be, but something having to do with all that stuff, something that I'm really interested in. But yeah, that's the plan for now, KU. And then I'll obviously be bothering Mike and the rest of the Future Messenger team lots of times because I'm only going to be going to KU in person 2 days a week. So the rest of the time, I'm gonna come up and bother them.
Oh, we
And
have to try. We have to see that new newsroom.
exactly, I'm going to be in here every day, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously not, I don't want to be rude, but I want to use
We
it.
won't have we won't have our key cards anymore. Can't come in when
That's
we
true. You're right. Oh no. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Oh
that's right.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
Well, it was really great to have you on this episode, Aubrey. Um, Next week, hopefully, we don't like next 2 weeks are trip heavy for me.
Hmm.
Aubrey has one, I have two. So we will see how schedule wise we make things work. But for the next episode, let's say, Aubrey will be joining me with I'm not gonna say who yet. You'll find out, and we'll talk to more of our staffers at the messenger. Thank you so much, Aubrey, for joining me today.
Thank you,
And
Baptiste. I'm excited to do this side project together. It'll be
yeah,
fun.
yeah. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.